I go sometimes to a car boot sale down the road from where I live.
Dope, but unexpected.
And in this car boot sale, there's many people who sell very, very old toys. And there's a woman who has a very large crate of old wrestling figures.
No!
So I grabbed a selection. Just on random. The ones that were least dirty and least mangled. And had all limbs.
You have no idea how happy I am right now. This is fucking great.
I'm going to pass you this so you can see the next segment. So we're at surprise. Surprise, Stephen. So my actual plan was to sort of cover them up so you can only see the faces and then I'll let you see the rest so you can guess from the face alone and if you can't guess from there. But honestly, I've thought about this and most of them are really easy. There's one I've grabbed that I think might be a trick, but if you get it, I want to see if you see what I saw in this and what you might have fallen for. But
just so the viewers at home can get involved, part of me was going to say if we move those, however, we need to speak into the microphone. So
what I might do is
ignore me.
I'll just take a decent picture and I'll edit it in, like,
okay,
where my hand is.
Oh yeah, you fucking own
them. There'll be a random picture of the
insert wrestler here
of the image. So let's start. I bought this bandana. I'm gonna like wrap it up to its head in the bandana. This is an easy one. This is so fun.
This is making the show. This is making such good shit look like shit.
Who is this?
That's the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Oh, look at him.
What I found so funny about this is, like, I don't know if they intended to, but he's got a dodgy eye. Take him. He's got a dodgy eye.
Oh, he's so lifelike. Oh, I mean, I'm going to say this. The amount of wrestling toys I had as a kid, and to be holding one again, is bringing me out of the dissociation period. It's fucking hell.
It was very satisfying. I shit you not, I had to clean these. I was like, we're cleaning them up, and I was like, I'm definitely getting more of these.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to keep doing this.
I mean, some of the obscurities you'll find with these old wrestling figures, some of them were so bizarre. Like, there was one, I think I mentioned it last season, it was the Triple H one, which had, like, the big spongy torso.
Oh,
that
yeah.
I ripped off and skinned alive. But this is like 2006, before the horrible Shawn Michaels Triple H reunion.
So what's funny is, like, some of these I did have to, like, sort of check the dates on their feet to make sure they were who I thought they were.
Right.
It was a little bit of a test for me. Like, I was like, do I even know who this is? Okay, number 2. Is
that Elijah Burke?
No. This one was a bit, like, the face froze it completely. If you see the back of the head, you'll immediately know.
It's not R-Truth.
It's supposed to be R-Truth. I was like, I think this is R-Truth, but I checked the foot. I was like, 2003. Yeah, that's a
No, 2003.
I had to check the pants as well. I believe he did wear pants like that.
For a second, I saw that and I thought he was German.
But yeah, the face is terrible. They're like, he's black
and
smiley.
say something that only me and you will get, and it's going to be so mean.
What are you going to say, Stephen?
He looks like the Vasher. Tell me I'm wrong.
It's the cleanness of the teeth and the smile.
It's like a very pristine, like angular smile, which is a compliment to her more than anything.
Definitely a compliment for the record.
But, I mean, in fairness,
it's just that the figure is definitely a black
oh,
man.
Yeah. But it looks nothing like him.
Okay, this one's easy. I've got another easy one in here. That one, I'm trying to make them go up in degree of difficulty. Like, that one was, I thought it was obvious, but at the same time, it's, because there's not many people that are black in wrestling. So I was like, yeah, it's R-Truth. This one I was surprised to find.
Right.
He looks like a little bandit. I think it's a little bit obvious.
Finn Balor.
Yes. I was surprised to find a Finn Balor.
Yeah, I
figure.
thought these were all going to be like 80s old school ones.
There was a lot. I didn't want to pick all the obvious ones. I was like, let's have some fun with this. I was like, I wanted the ones that I had to figure out who they were. I was like, if I had to think about it, you're definitely maybe. Well, no, it's the other way around. But I was like, yeah, you're the smart. So
can I get a quick look at that? Because
yeah.
I mean, the main thing that's going on in my mind now is I'm getting to see sort of the evolution of these wrestling figures, and I've got to say that yes, they are more. They're a little bit more easy to move and manipulate, which kind of goes in turn because now you can actually make them slap the thigh when they go for the kick.
That was smarky as fuck.
I'm not bitter, but this is actually really well made. I remember the shit that was not only the stuff that was coming out when I was a kid, but the generation before me.
Even, that Archie, like I want you to appreciate. I spent a lot of time straightening the arms on these motherfuckers. It was so annoying getting their arms so they weren't like this, with their hands
the
like in
abominations.
reverse. Like it was ridiculous.
Absolute abominations. But no. They are potentially the loves of my life right now.
You might take that back after this next one. The next one should be an easy one. But it's just the doll made me laugh so fucking hard. I'm not even going to bother wrapping it. I'm just going to bring it out. Look at the torso! Look at the fucking torso!
I hate... Why is it a different colour to his arms?
It's so bad!
He's been smothered in chutney.
Like, the face is great, but the body, I'm just like... They realised they didn't have things in proportions. They're like, we've got this random old ancient action man torso that was a bit too small, so just slap that on it with some white arms.
It's even better as well because the angle they've put his arm at, it's like he's hurt his back.
He's just roaring. Oh, it was great.
Oh, he's incredible. Oh.
Okay, so now we're falling into the ones that are a bit more obscure.
Okay, this is exciting. I don't know how we're going to top that.
Obscure, not difficult, because I still recognise this one. It didn't take me long. This one's arms are definitely fucked.
He adds character. Who is that?
I'll let you have some time with him.
I won't unveil his body.
It's just that his shorts give it away. Also,
I mean, part of me says, is that Randy Orton?
Nah, it's not Randy.
Chris Masters.
Yes!
I mean, you say the shorts give it away, and yes, they do.
They just say
that
CM
body.
on them.
That would send Vince crazy. Fucking hell.
That was literally what happened. Vince saw him and was like...
He's foaming at the mouth. I mean, he looks a bit like Randy, but no. They've got a good likeness here.
It's actually decent likeness, yeah. So, like, it took me like a minute, and I was like, oh shit, that's Chris fucking Masters, isn't it? You're taking a bit of damage.
I mean, I was going to say... That definitely is a purposeful lazy eye because with all this damage, his eyes are spot on.
Right? Shawn Michaels' eyes are definitely... I don't know if someone's going for accuracy, but fair play. You did well.
Chris Masters was so cool, man. I couldn't appreciate him as a kid, but...
I think he made me acknowledge an issue that I think some wrestlers do fall into, and it's when your gimmick is a literal gimmick...
Yeah,
it gets old.
It does, yeah.
You look at people like who want longevity, and it's like, yeah, doing the Master Lock challenge was never going to last forever, and it was like annoyingly he sort of never really was looked at as a submission specialist, despite that, and it was like I think that's where it fell short.
I think when you think of a submission specialist, you think of someone who's quite a good technical wrestler, and it's unfair on him because he's kind of being lumped in with a bunch of people who he's not even trying to be like.
Yeah.
And it's also quite unfair on him because his entire gimmick was thrown out the window when he was forced to stop taking steroids. So Much love for Chris Masters.
I've actually seen an interview with him recently. He looks in great shape.
Good for him.
I don't know if he's back on the roids, but...
I have lots of negative opinions about the 2006 roster. What was going on at that time? Nothing but good things to say about Chris Masters. So I make a mean joke. A mean joke, sorry. He's fantastic.
Okay. Our second to last. This is probably the last one for difficulty. Then we've got the surprise entrant.
Oh, no.
This one is the hard one.
Who we got here?
If it getting too difficult, you can remove the bandana. Because face alone, I think, is quite hard.
Ken Shamrock?
It is not Ken Shamrock, I don't think.
Alex Riley?
He might pull out names, like variant names that I don't know.
He looks very derpy. Because you look at it and there's certain features which are... It feels like they've been ripped from different people to make your favourite wrestler. Like there's little bits in there of John Cena, little bits of The Miz. I wouldn't say either of those are the right one. You got Shawn Michaels' lazy eye.
It's like such a random deep cut.
Can you give me a clue as to the time periods?
So it was what, early 2000s. I want to say 2003, 4. I'd say take off the bandana.
Is this something from La Resistance?
Fucking hell, you're good.
Is this Rene Dupree?
I thought it was the other guy.
Or you got Rene Dupree, no, not Garrison Cady. Was he Rene? Don't tell me the name because
just think it's French.
Sylvain Grenier.
Yes, I will admit I had to look up the name because it's on the shorts, and I was like, wait, why the fuck is there a figure for one of the La Resistance guys, and why just some random auntie in a fucking Holloway goddamn?
She just loves people from Quebec. Someone's got
like, oh, this will be. If you get this, I will officially. I will start appreciating that your smartdom is way higher than mine.
I mean, I don't think I would have got it if you didn't mention the time period, but there's something about him where it's just like he looks French, not just French. He looks French Canadian, and we have got the worst ever GM mode lineup sat on this sofa right now.
Or the most amazing fucking someone's YouTube content dream. Can I make all these guys top people? Who is that?
Well, is it?
Yeah, that was
okay.
See,
it would have been really embarrassing if I kept that guy and it wasn't him.
See, I looked at this and I was like, see, that is Show, but I also thought, who does it also sort of look like?
Jake the Snake? I mean, if you cover up the goatee.
See, I was thinking Tommy Dreamer.
I can see it, yeah.
He looks like he looks like a giant Tommy Dreamer.
I really don't like the fact that you've revealed the body to me now. It's upsetting me.
What with the painted on lips?
Yeah, it's so shiny.
Unitard, sorry. It's hilarious.
I
told you I washed them. But the hands, Big Show with the claw.
I'll use my good hand. Stir the mashed potato.
There's a beautiful Big Show because Notice what era it is because it's got the arm tattoos.
Yeah, so this was receding hairline Big Show.
The rudeness.
I've got a fucking bald spot. I'm not gonna fucking dish it out when I can't take it. Other than to Ryback, because fuck Ryback. I am coming round to Big Show. I think he seems like a lovely human being. I think his dedication to this. Why am I talking like I've got any right to talk about him this way? He's a fucking good guy, and I hope he stays on AEW's paycheck forever.
We talked about it, and I think I said something along the lines of he was a good rite of passage sort of. I think if someone was on their way to proving they could sort of deal with any aspect of the roster, anyone who's become a big name needs to be able to deal with, the strongest guy on the roster, the crazy big guy as well as a stable. And it was always if it wasn't Kane, you're thrown against a Big Show, and that was that was your spanner in the works. Oh, you think you're doing well? Take out Big Show then. And it was like, and he was a great usage for that because it was almost like he didn't have to be a heel, even though people love to laugh at his heel changes and shit. He was just good in that sort of like he was a test, like almost like a test of might for anyone.
Yeah, you're like you've done pretty well so far, but this is something you're not used to.
It's like, can you go 5 rounds with Big Show though? It's like, you know, some
he'll
of them
be heel for 2 of them, and then he'll be a face for the other 3.
And so that's why I always appreciated Show. He was good for that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of like.
I love how he positioned him like he's about to crush Sylvain's head.
It is slowly stroking.
Just like,
this is a real motley crew we got right here. That is.
It's not on the camera, so I'm gonna take a nice picture of.
Oh, I was thinking the same.
You in this lineup because it looks amazing.
I mean, I was thinking this would be a great teaser for season 2. So.
Thumbnail. Why is it so nice?
You say it with such sentimental value.
Beautiful picture, Steve.
That's going straight on my Instagram. Oh, I do love it.
Right, so I actually forgot what else was on this plan. We have a plan, people.
We have a plan that we've been keeping to better than last season, but that's because we're under time constraints now. They're doing us a big favour here.
No, but so I think I wrote room for us to go back to the Cody story because I sort of I feel like I've been unjust. I'm being unfair to Cody. I'm judging him by Cody now, the Cody that
everyone's favourite Cody.
My introduction to Cody as a whole, I suppose reintroduction because I did see him back in the day, but just he was a mid-carder, so I didn't care. That's just how it works, especially when you're a kid.
It kind of is. It's understandable.
I think my reintroduction to wrestling and him as a whole was sort of watching retrospects, finding out burping. I'm subtly burping. Finding out about AEW and its conception, him leaving, coming back, the torn pec, and then it was basically spelled out. And this is part of paying back into what I was saying earlier. It was basically spelled out to me that he's coming back and winning the Royal Rumble before I'd even watched a single minute of WWE for the first time in 10 years. I was like, I'm coming back and I already know this guy who I never liked is going to win the Rumble. Because apparently he's a big deal now. But that was my approach to everyone, for the record. I was very apprehensive to most of the big names. Even Roman and Seth, I was about like, I missed The Rock. I definitely came in like an old head.
You did this to us.
Now I just don't care. I really only care about the compelling stories. I don't like what's going on the Bloodline stuff now, particularly. I think it's taken... You can tell they're trying to get as much as they can. They're like juicing it now to death. Yeah,
they had that comment a while ago where they were saying stuff about like, oh yeah, we're still in like the first act. Please don't be in the first act.
The Rock said our story's just getting started. I'm like, it's been going on about 4 years. But they've been talking about adding you for over a year, so let's not pretend this is not...
Guys, we want to go home.
This is not going on. Yeah,
it's that guy on karaoke.
We're wrapping this up, I hope.
But if we're going to look at Cody, I think it's quite nice to kind of look where he's come from. So instead of doing like a step-by-step talk on his career, we can talk about maybe his gimmicks. And then I would like to tie this up because I mentioned earlier about how I have this perception of how maybe the story should end. I went Sean Connery there. So he comes in with his dad, gets kicked in the head by Randy Orton, loses to Randy Orton. His dad gets kicked in the head by Randy Orton. 6 months later, he's in a stable with Randy Orton. Adrenaline in my soul. And I am skipping out the worst Cody, which is teaming with Hardcore Holly Cody. Because Hardcore Holly was...
Jesus Christ.
Did you not know about... They didn't have a tag team.
I was about to say, don't say like Hard Roads.
Hard Roads. Country Roads.
So the other option is what, Cody Holly or Collie? Like I don't know.
Border Collie.
Border Collie.
So they started out by feuding. He just stopped talking about his dad at this point, which a lot of people wish he'd do now.
That's not me. That's not me recognizing our tribal chief. That's me saying I'm sick of hearing about his dad.
We all are, especially considering Roman does a better impression of his dad than he does. It's so cruel, and it's such a good way to surmise his career. But they started out as enemies, became a tag team, and then there was one thing which would kind of set up for the future, where it was Cody and the shitster himself, Astronaut Holly, versus Ted DiBiase.
Unfortunately, never known as Astronaut Holly.
It would have been good. It would have been the most interesting thing he ever did. They were facing Ted DiBiase Jr.
I was about to say Junior, I imagine.
Yeah, a very unfortunate name in wrestling, but we'll come to that another time.
Do we need to?
No.
Probably not.
No, it's controversy.
I do sort of know. And I know he came in. I know about it.
Yeah, everyone knows of him, and I think a lot of people would have expected him, maybe not the same career trajectory, but to be in Cody's position where he is actually relevant.
I think that's the problem. I think my issue was fair play to Cody for being one of out of a class of let's say what I don't know what to call them, but the son or child of a legend.
The generation
that not only not just being the child of a former wrestler, but someone from the era that Vince has a hard-on for. Vince and Triple H both have hard-ons for. They fucking love playing homage. Yeah, playing homage to these guys. The guys that they won, basically. The guys that Vince was like, oh, you're good in your territory? You're mine now.
Yeah. This is my final victory. I get to make you job. I'll send a text to your dad afterwards saying, can I... No, I'm not. No. Oh, no.
But like I said, fair play to Cody for being one of the better ones. But I don't know, because wrestling is equally about how well you sort of resonate with the fans, but it's you are subject to, I suppose, the production, the writing, and the pushes you get,
the politics. Who likes you backstage?
Yeah, and I feel like he clearly had the respect, and that's what I mean about I don't care about the character now because he clearly was being respected and getting the pushes in 2014 and 15.
Yes, yeah,
with the whole feuding with the Authority. It's you got to openly feud with the Authority that then went on to fuck over what were currently, or then went on to them fuck over tied into the Daniel Bryan story. So if anything, he was part of one of the biggest stories of the year. Played a part in it.
I mean, in that era, I think he was... Not only that, he was extremely over as well. The things he did for the Intercontinental title division, sure, we might look at something like Gunther now, and so, because this is what you'd want Roman to be with Gunther, where he had been generational and you don't get sick of him. And it does feel like it might eventually end. But he did a lot of good for the Intercontinental title between, say, 2010 and 2012.
Yeah.
And it kind of gets left behind. And that ties into what you kind of expect, what you want him to be, which is that guy who got close but had a great career anyway.
Yeah. I'm just happy to let him be that guy. Okay, I get it. He's been in the main event and never had it. I suppose you get to a point, and I hate to look at wrestling like this, but you get to a point where there's a bunch of guys who somehow found themselves in the main event and had like your Canes, had a week, month, 2-month run with the world heavyweight, and it's yeah, he probably should have at least had a short run by now. Probably doesn't help that we've been the same selection of people have been holding gold now for 4 years, 3 years. Even it's my same issue. It's almost regardless. I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to make too many points. It's they're clearly trying to save Cody's first gold to be a major moment.
Yeah, make it matter.
But unfortunately, we've got ourselves wrapped up where like all the fans are like, okay, we're ready for that to be now. And it's like, oh, but we're still doing this whole thing where we're trying to like, not have all the records for the WWE championships be like 30-year-old records that seem like it would be unreasonable to try and break now. So we're going to just have a run where we just modernize just one record. Just one. And then we'll probably never do this again for like 50 years. Because
they know they can't. People are still invested because it's a good story and because the people involved in it are doing it well. But it's impossible to catch this again.
I 100% understand why they're doing this. It's like, if the NBA was scripted, someone would have broken the 100-point record a long time ago now, because the point record in NBA is never being broken. Because we're just in an era where no one can score 100 points in a fucking basketball game with the level of talent we have. It's just never happening. Yeah. It's just ridiculous.
It's not like white guys in flat caps anymore.
Yeah, and it's like, it'd be great, but that record is going to probably just end up being this record that no one gets to. But in sports entertainment, we can manipulate that, and we can write stories around it being convincing. And we need to try and get away with it once. Yes.
You can find ways of wording it where you're never going to beat Bruno Sammartino. What was it, like 15 years or something? I might be exaggerating heavily. That huge title run.
It's something along the lines of like nearly 5, isn't it?
It's probably...
It's like 5.5 years he was the champion or something stupid. And it's like, we can't do that. We can't. Well, we can definitely beat the racist Hulk Hogan, though. Please.
That's where I was going. I was going to say, we can rebrand Hogan as the longest reigning modern champion, and we can beat him and get him out of our fucking sights, and then put him in the Royal Rumble trailer.
I wouldn't mind him beating Hogan. I think a lot of people
are. I'd like him to beat Hogan.
But you shouldn't have let us get hyped up around Cody. You shouldn't give him Cody back-to-back Royal Rumble wins.
I'm going to try it right now, and I'm going to pitch something which I know that's your shtick, right? I think it fills in a few holes. I think it's probably something a lot of people have kind of decided for themselves already before, but I just want to run it by you, and I want to see what you think of it.
Let's see if you can finally convince me that he deserves this.
I will give you a mini spoiler that it doesn't involve Cody beating Roman.
Okay.
So when Cody came in, he came in with Dusty. His first match was against Randy Orton. Cody has always had a few different little pieces to the game he's playing. He's his dad's son. He is always in time with Randy Orton. Heavily entwined. You've got Legacy. So, do you know anything about Legacy?
That was the Sons of Legends.
Yeah, it was...
stable that was just, Cody and Randy?
No. So it was...
Don't tell me fucking
Cody,
Curtis,
Ted DiBiase. I think his name was like Manu. I think he was part of the Anoa'i family.
Okay.
So the story gets more complex. We're never going to mention him again. It's okay. That was kind of their little stable. And then at Mania 26, Randy buried them, and then they never interacted again. My pitch is that we're going to introduce another complicated layer to this. How many titles does John Cena have?
I've already forgotten. Is it 17?
It's 16.
Oh, 16.
How many does Randy have?
15?
15. How many does Ric Flair have?
16.
It's like 140 at this point, but it's 16 officially. I'm going to say... I've not thought about it fully, but we're going to find a way for Randy to at some point beat Seth, lose the belt. Yeah, he's on 16. We're going to have a triple threat match between Roman, Randy, Cena. I'm going to say we let Randy be the guy to get 17 titles because I think he deserves it. I think he has given so much for the company. He's been there when John hasn't been. He's been a full-timer the whole time. And even after this back injury, he's come back. Randy Orton is the man. Right? Randy Orton also has a lot of history with Cody Rhodes. Cody's never been able to beat Randy. Cody started his career with his dad. and Randy. He was in a team with him. Cody beats Randy to finish the story. That's my pitch.
I like that because it falls into the thing that they keep saying Triple H loves: long storytelling. It would get things out of the way for what my pitch centers around, which is more interesting, not than yours, but more interesting
arrogant
than what we're getting.
Yeah.
Which is, for me, they flirted with it, but not really put a focus on it, which is, I'm loving all of this Cody, Roman, and having Seth in the picture, because the Seth angle is always great for me. It's like, there's like, almost like feeding into your thing. It's like, I feel like there's people who have like final bosses, final goals, and it's like, if you're essentially suggesting like Cody's biggest obstacle and like final, like almost like if you're going to be a legend, you need to take out Randy, because Randy's the one you didn't beat. Randy's the one who's always been there, and he's like one of the biggest names. He's potentially, he's a greater legend than you, unless you beat him.
Yeah, like
thing.
He's one up to you at every corner.
And it's almost like, for me, the greatest long storytelling happening in wrestling right now is truly Seth versus Roman.
Oh, well, I mean,
as in, I'm not saying
Roman couldn't beat Seth.
I'm not saying we do this soon. It's almost like this is the story that is subtly being told the whole time. Roman's currently in his arc where he is finally the biggest name in the company, because after Seth betrayed him, and after, because obviously I went back, I've watched Origins of the Shield, I've watched the Fall Apart, the first breakdown, the Ascension of the Shield, the first rise. Seth became the big name first. Roman then became the guy, the man, the people's guy, after the Authority made Seth the guy. But Seth was the first guy out the Shield. He was the first one, not the first one with single gold. That was actually Dean, ironically.
Was it the US title?
Yeah. But Seth was made to look like the man. He was called the architect. He put it all together. Even now he's saying, I created Roman. He's my problem. And I'm like, interesting. I like that. Like, almost like, if this is like almost like a midpoint of their careers, like 10 years in and they're going to go for 20 years. At this midpoint, we're saying Roman's at his peak now. He's the longest running WWE champion of the modern era. But Seth gets to claim responsibility for this monster. It's almost like, I like this, because if we get to the end, at some point, those two need to be each other's final bosses, be it as champions or just a solo going against each other. They're the modern Rock and Austin. They're the two.
That's a big claim.
They are. They're the two big names that have taken over the industry, but they're like opposite ends of the spectrum, but still the same side. But they're almost like different sides of the same coin at the same time. It's like they're both people's champions in their own right. They're both the people that people love, and we've decided when they're going to be big as well.
Yeah. Like, they're the people tune in for. They're the people who they've had waves in their career where it's not always been hunky-dory. Seth especially, he had a rough time in terms of, I think maybe he would be the Rock in this situation.
When they try and make him heel and then he ends up pissing everyone off.
No, I would say where they try and make him the big baby face. And he never exactly got Seth die chance. But he was taking it hard.
Yeah.
And he had to just keep rebuilding. A bit like what The Rock did. So I do like this idea.
I'm not saying that their careers mirror Rock and Roll. I just think,
No.
in terms of being the two biggest names of their era.
Yeah, the closest we could find to those people.
That are like essentially almost two different styles, but similar in the same right. Like their love, as in the reason you love them are for almost different reasons. Like they're both great at pissing everybody off, which I love. That's what most, not heel work, but even just like promo work is about. Like, how well can you work the crowd and humiliate your colleagues, essentially, the locker room, and
the people
make whoever you're up against really make it seem like there probably is no chance of them winning. Like, they're both great at that.
Yeah. But The Rock did it where he was cool. The Seth does it as he's a giant gremlin. Seth is not supposed to be cool. He's supposed to be weird and quirky. And it gives him character and charm. So, in a weird way, the fact that he is the polar opposite of The Rock makes him The Rock's equivalent. Because he does it in his own way. Can I also just say, if we're going to do this, we have to do it as a unification match. We have to. Because that makes it the ultimate final battle.
I don't know. I'd be happy for them just to. What happened to singles matches with just like a name theme? Just throwing this out there. I don't want to. I'm not. I hate to say that annoyingly, the Rocks had 2 of them, where it was more like the promotion of the match and like even the the way it was advertised was like. It was if there was no title involved, but it was 2 big names. We sort of made a big deal out of it somehow.
Well, like the legend versus the icon, Hogan.
Icon versus icon. Once, one night only. I don't know, things like that. You get what I'm saying? Where like, we really, we fed them either be it their nickname or just something about the match or the rivalry. Whereas now it's just like here's a promo video. Here's why it's important. It's like no, let's like really feed into this, like. For example, this isn't a dream match pitch or a prediction, but I'm just saying, I'm hoping that the Women's Championship match at WrestleMania is a triple threat. And we make it, we play on the titles. What's Rhea's official, like, nickname title? She's... I always forget.
I just think Mummy.
They always get me confused. One of who's the Annihilator?
I think it is Rhea.
So then who's...
She has like 6...
Who's the Destroyer?
Probably also Rhea.
No, because I forget... Nia? Nia's got a jack... Like, she's like the Annihilator.
The Annihilator.
Yeah, the Annihilator, and then Rhea is like... the Destroyer or something like that, and then you got the Man. So like basically what I'm saying is their WrestleMania match should be like really titled like these 3 by their like sort of nickname titles: the Man versus the Annihilator versus the Destroyer, whatever Rhea's thing is. Like
I mean it'll pull people in
because and then then the promos then have just a little bit more oomph to them, a bit more like
it has
raw.
Stakes. It feels big. It feels like these aren't just Nia Jax, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
The Destroyer versus the Annihilator versus the Bloke.
The Bloke.
She will be in an elimination chamber.
My favorite thing is when they accidentally like overuse the Man nickname or moniker in matches. And like saying it in my kitchen the other day, like you get these moments where it's like the Man has destroyed every woman in this ring. I'm like, guys. Check yourself.
There's a guy in a wife beater and holding a Stella Artois. Fucking what?
Yeah, what? Like he runs in the other room. Like a man just it's just Becky Lynch.
Who's your Irish bird?
Yeah. The Man has come here and set every woman in this division. I'm like on watch. I'm like, guys, but. I know that you feel like you're having real fun with calling her the Man, but I'm just saying if you're not watching, you're just listening, it sounds like you're describing men, the patriarchy, just dominating women. Stop. I get it. She's taking it back. But it's just funny. It's funny, guys. It's funny.
Not in the good way either. In the horrible Smarks way.
Don't make Smarks a term like that.
If you're making us laugh, you're not doing something very well. But you can keep doing it. We'll enjoy it. I mean, I will say that I like the angle in terms of when you do bring those like titles into it, it kind of makes it like a moment in history. Because like legend versus icon. Immediately you say that, you go, oh, Hogan versus Rock. The unstoppable force versus the immovable object. Hogan versus Andre.
Yeah.
The problem is, WWE does still do that. They did it. It was Edge versus, I want to say, Randy Orton, and they called it the greatest wrestling match in history. And it was like 4.5 stars.
That's a bit... Yeah, don't go that far. I did just realise the crazy implications if you don't put Nia in this match, it is just Mummy versus the Man, and if the Man wins, the Man beat Mummy.
Mummy's cowering in the corner.
I just imagine Michael Cole like, last night, Mummy was destroyed by the Man in a match for the ages.
The Man didn't hold back. The Man gave what was coming to Mommy.
Mommy was not enough for the Man.
Oh.
Wrestling!
We swear, we're good people.
Right.
I have no idea what's going on here at this point.
We've actually reached overtime. We're at a point where like everything we planned to talk about, we talked about. We're doing well.
I mean, a little glimpse behind the curtain for everyone. It does feel quite nice, actually, sort of speaking to the camera because
I feel like have one.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on Richard and Judy now. Come on, children. Hello. No, there's like I think when we kind of relax and we don't have to go through an entire story, as we did with the Miz and Bro, just you get the best out of us, and you're so very welcome.
There is a spot for you to explain someone to me, and feel free to completely rip if you fancy it. But
please.
I think what I was going to do is I was going to pull someone out, or pull a name out, and you're going to just talk.
I mean, I'm happy to do that. If there's anyone on your minds right now, I can do my best.
I was going to go for someone recent, but actually, I might take a. It's always going to be someone from the 2000s.
Sure.
There was because we need to do more women, and it's actually someone that I've been meaning to know about, and I hope you do have decent knowledge on them. But can you potentially explain Nikki fucking Cross?
Oh, Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross is an interesting one.
Was she ever good? That's always the question I find myself asking. Were they ever good? Don't go straight to answering that. Like, go ahead and explain how you want to explain.
I will kind of, as I like to do, I'll start at the beginning. So, do you know Sanity, the faction?
No.
They're NXT babies. Okay. So, obviously, I use the word baby very loosely because they were led by, I think, Eric Young, who is like TNA alumni. Like, he's one of the guys from when TNA was TNA. Like
the TNA that everyone longs for now.
Yeah, back when it was on Bravo.
When they were fucking crazy.
Crazy. When you had Abyss and all that.
And they were like EC dub level.
But they were like kind of... I'm not going to call them anonymous because that's not fair. And they were also kind of cool. But they had this edgy kind of like vibe to them, and there was a little bit of insanity to them. And Nikki Cross was the little firecracker. She'd come out and like... It is after all our comments about the man's beating mummy, you can't hit her. So like she'd always be the scary one, and she'd come out a little ball of fire. She was really good in the ring as well. And I think when you have that, everyone's got their place, everyone's got their own energy and something they bring to the table. That's where she shone because she was a part of something. Ever since they brought her to the main roster, they have not known what to do with her.
Oh dear.
To the point where they turned her into a superhero.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen one of the guys from, I want to say, one of the YouTube channels. I always get Cultaholic and What Culture mixed up. I'm sorry,
Cultaholic
guys.
are the, I was going to say...
Which one has Adam Pacitti?
Cultaholic.
Oh, so it's one of the Cultaholic guys. He hates Nikki Cross. Sorry, guys, I will learn your names. He will never forgive Nikki Cross for the time that Molly Holly came back in the Women's Royal Rumble as Mighty Molly and is immediately wiped out before she even makes it to the ring.
Oh, I understand.
Was it Super Nikki or the fuck she was going by at the time?
Nikki Ash. Nikki, actual superhero.
Yes, ASH. That's the one. Yeah. He's still mad about that. I watched that not too long ago because I was watching a lot of the Rumbles lead up to this Rumble. Watch the Women's was fun, and I mean that in retrospect and this year. The men's one was not great. I can't lie.
No,
I think
it wasn't.
The last three, all the men's Royal Rumbles I chose to watch, including the 2024, have really let me down. I'm not loving Rumbles. The last one I watched was that I enjoyed was 2020.
Yeah, I do know who won the 2020. That would have been Drew McIntyre. Because the first half of that would have just been Brock. And as an idea, when you're seeing it live, it's like, okay, cool. When's this going to end? Can we do something different?
I think that was good about it.
I
think that's what was good about it. It was like, first of all, we really haven't done a Rumble where someone just dominates this stupidly. And it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a little bit fun because like you thought, okay, like I said, when's this going to end? And then it finally ends, then it actually was a decent Rumble. It's like, okay, yeah, I suppose in the grand scheme, because like I said, I watched about like 10, 15 Rumbles in the space of a month and a half. It was fun to finally see one that was like, played out just completely differently.
It's not just a spot fest. It's
first 10 people are all just thrown out. There's never more than 2 people in the ring for the first 15 entrants.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna fucking have a Rumble. And now this shit's getting real. And then and Edge is back. And it was
woohoo.
It was fun. It was Edge is back, and he stayed to the end.
Yeah.
It was a good Rumble.
Then he wins it from number 1 next year, which I wasn't a fan of.
Yeah, I know about that. But that was like, it's a pandemic. What are we going to do? We need people to like this so we keep money. So let's just get Edge in and have him win the whole thing. Because, we need more people so we can stop awkwardly avoiding talking about Benoit winning it from number 1.
3 men! 3 men have done it. Edge, Shawn Michaels.
So Nikki Cross...
I will talk about Nicola Glenn Cross. I think she's great. I think she's a great wrestler. I think she always portrays her character as well. I'll always have a soft spot for... I think she was the last ever... was it the 24/7 championship?
Maybe.
She was the last ever one. It was a title that she held. And there was a glimpse of her where she's just walking around like... I think Dakota Kai's behind her... And they're sort of like, "Oh, she did it," and then she goes to drop it in the bin, and she misses the bin.
I've seen this clip. I have seen this clip, and it's very funny.
Endeared me to her. I don't know why. That gave me such a soft spot.
So love this chick.
But it always feels like, because especially in the start of Triple H's run, he had her in the background a lot. Like he was planning something for her. Because that's something I think Triple H did quite well when he started. He had this, like, his shows were always just like that. Like there's a piece here and a piece here, and they're going to interact, and this piece is going to go here. But Nikki Cross was always there for some weird reason. Same with Bray, actually. Before Bray came back, there was always hints to him.
Yeah.
And it always feels like she's a part of the show, but never the attraction. So a part of that is just because of the booking given her way, but also just because sometimes it just ain't meant to be.
I'm so annoyed because we've got like 10 minutes left and I can't hold my need to pee any longer.
I need to pee as well.
I'm going to do it.
Well, I mean,
let's see how far
we got in here at 18 minutes past.
Yeah, we got time.
We got time. So am I going to have to entertain everyone?
Yeah.
You have to play with the wrestling things.
Guys, let's talk about nepotism. Nepotism is the concept that someone gets something undeserving based on their lineage or heritage. Now, someone deserving the W. I can't wait to send it to Steven when I'm done. This is all just to trigger him. I'm not an anti-Cody crybaby. If anything, I hate everything tied to this uwu shit. Like, as I mentioned before, I don't care. I care way more about a triple threat for the Women's World Championship. If it's not a triple threat, I'm really annoyed. I don't want a 1-on-1 between Rhea and Becky. It's boring. Put Nia in. She deserves it. And, again with the World Heavyweight Championship, they better not do a singles, because imagine just 4 singles matches for all 4 championships. How boring. Talking about fumbling WrestleMania that Steven doesn't believe in. But no, the arc of the season is definitely going to be if Cody actually deserves any of this. Hopefully we'll record enough of these that we get past WrestleMania. If we do this once a month, we definitely would. If we do it every 2 weeks, that would be 6 episodes by WrestleMania or post WrestleMania. We could do that. That works. I think Steven's back. This is between us and the camera, if that makes sense.
Sorry?
I'm just talking to the people.
Oh, okay.
I'm making use of this time that we paid for.
I think it's been pretty well used time, if I'm honest.
I was having a small rant about WrestleMania 40.
I'll grow up. Come on. Right, so
I was
we're
actually
moving past
saying
Nikki
that
Ash
I
because
don't care about the Uwu, and I care more about there not being just singles matches for all 4 titles, because if they do that, I'm really pissed off.
I mean, I am immediately going to say it's got to be Seth versus Drew, right?
No. I need a triple threat match. Or a 4.
Why?
Because if we just have Cody versus Roman, Seth versus Drew, Io versus Bailey, and Rhea versus Becky, I don't want just 4 fucking singles matches. That's so boring.
Oh no, it's not. It's not.
Because then we got the tag team titles will also have to go, so that will be a 2-on-2. And then what? We're gonna fill all the other slots of triple threat matches between people that no one cares about.
I mean, I am immediately going to say after last night's SmackDown, I could imagine a Judgment Day versus R-Truth and Kevin Owens.
No, I don't care.
I don't really care.
As in, like, it'd be fun. I'm up for a fun match and for a random. Obviously, not everything's been about titles, but let's be honest, they haven't really been putting much energy into like non-title feuds right now. Like, I swear to God, if you say the fucking Street Profits and this new Genesis bullshit, I'm sorry, I'm gonna fucking kill someone.
Do you think I care about that? Jesus Christ!
Exactly.
And I love the Street
No
Profits.
one cares about what's going on with the LWO or Santos Escobar. They've ruined that.
What is it?
That's run its course. Even if Rey Mysterio randomly comes back.
Fuego.
Fantastic.
I googled that last night. I was thinking, what is that? A fucking hip hop act?
That's what I mean. Right now, because so much focus has gone on the Uwu and Cody's choice, I feel like WrestleMania right now isn't actually looking crazy interesting unless we start pivoting and concentrating on way more women shit, because there's not, other than the Io Bailey stuff, there's been no concentration. They're fumbling. I say fumbling. They're tactically avoiding Jade, and I understand why. Because if they fuck up Jade, this is like fucking up Goldberg. This is literally the same issue. It's like
Jade should be a monster.
She's the female Black Goldberg.
I want them to hold her off of Rhea for quite a while. Maybe SummerSlam. I don't want you to feed her to her, because that completely negates everything you've done with Rhea, especially considering she's run through so many people like Natalia.
No, I think I think I could already predict what they're going to do. I think we're going to have Jade cost Bianca the Elimination Chamber so Becky wins. For whatever reason, we're going to have Jade. She's not going to be in the Elim, but she's going to be there.
Yeah, they pulled her from it.
And she's going to, I reckon, so then there's a reason because otherwise, if she's not in the chamber, how are we going to quickly work to her and Bianca? Because if Bianca loses, fair. But I don't think it'd be fun just to have Bianca lose to Becky straight. I think it'd be have Bianca lose because of something, and then that leads to a feud.
I also hate to say it, but it also feels impossible, because Bianca always feels unbeatable.
Yeah,
especially by.
I think it's fair. I think keep that level of, like strength with them. I suppose like let Bianca look still potentially unstoppable. Make it look like she might have even won had it not been for Jade.
I mean, I'm just going to immediately say, I think you've undone yourself here, because you've immediately just booked a singles match, which looks quite realistic. At the pay-per-view, we still have to come. After this pay-per-view, they're going to go straight on it for Mania. So I think that's where we're going to get our non-title feuds. I think...
But that's a fun non-title feud. That's the battle of the scary black girls.
Love that.
Amazing.
I mean, I want Jade to win.
That's going to sell tickets. Yeah, we have to put her over by having her beat Bianca Belair. I think Bianca's willing to do that work as well, to be honest with you. I think she's willing to put her over.
Yeah, of course. Bianca seems lovely, and she seems like she's got a business brain. But...
So other than that, so if that already has to be one of the singles matches we're going to get, we've got the tag match. This is why I'm saying one of the big title matches, I'm talking World Heavyweight, Uwu, and then the women's 2 titles, has to be a triple threat or plus. Or something, or, yes, okay, we can have one of the singles matches in a fucking cage or some shit, but still, it should not just be a one-on-one. I think it needs to be divided.
I mean, it would have to be the World Heavyweight, I think.
Yeah, and I 100%...
I mean, because Rhea versus Becky, that's going to be a fucking good match.
I still think Nia needs to be in that match. Make a triple threat.
Possibly, but I do like the idea.
They're already setting
up.
They're setting up for that to be a legitimate reason, a legitimate thing as well. Because let's be honest, Nia beat Becky. So for Becky to then become the number one contender seems illegitimate if she hasn't gotten over that hurdle of her last decent loss.
Yeah.
Even if she wins eliminated. And I think best way to do it again, have Rhea win through shenanigans or some shady shit. Have Rhea Becky, have Rhea Nia end in a disqualification.
In Perth.
Yeah. That way, you won't get the boos of her losing because she still walks out champ. But then we've got the storytelling element of Nia's not out of the world champion picture because she didn't lose. She's beaten Becky. She never lost to Rhea. Let's keep her in the picture.
Nah, mate. I'm disagreeing with that.
I think
in this current year, you take someone to their home country, like especially in this post-Vince era, where the hometown person would always lose in their own era. You can't send her to Perth and have her lose.
No,
even a double DQ or a DQ win. You can't do that.
I think it'd be worse to have her win clean because that then doesn't make sense for her and Becky to be an interesting match because Becky lost to Nia and then Rhea beat Nia. So then why would we even think that Becky has a chance of beating Rhea at WrestleMania?
I mean, I know Becky's not maybe for the best. She's not been at the top of the game.
It would make no sense to put Nia over for her to lose to Rhea and then Becky somehow beat Rhea. I think that's terrible booking.
We're looking at this from two different angles here. You're looking at this from the strategic, what's going on in wrestling right now, what everyone's records are.
Long storytelling.
Triple H likes
long storytelling.
Becky has been the man for 5 years now. Seeing those two go at it.
But she's only been beating mid-carders, and her last decent match, she lost to Nia.
But there's a whole bunch of main events in that.
We're telling an interesting story already. Look at how she lost in the Rumble. She wasn't a dominant force in the Rumble. She got a good pop, but she wasn't that dominant.
Which
I think it's fair. I think if anything, they're playing Becky smart. She's one of the biggest names. She's someone who deserves to stay in the main event picture, but she doesn't need her wins right now. She needs to be in the event to make the event interesting, but she doesn't need to win.
Can we also say who else is in that elimination chamber? You got Bianca.
No one important. Genuinely,
I was about
to
say Natalia. So yeah, fair point.
No one important in that chamber right at the moment. Yeah. It's literally the two. I'm already calling the final two will be Becky and Bianca. No one else matters in this chamber.
Yeah.
Even the men's chamber's looking a bit irrelevant at this point. I mean, it's like Drew's gonna win this.
It's gonna be Drew, and I fucking love Drew.
And you can tell they've
Drew
had to pivot.
Is one of the best things in wrestling right now.
They've already had to pivot the entire World Heavyweight Championship angle. All plans have gone out the window. Punk got injured, Seth got injured, everything went out the fucking window. So I understand that the men's side. This is why I don't care too much about the Elimination Chamber because I'm like, I feel like the men's side of things has already become a pivot workaround, and it's all now the concentration's clearly all on The Rock and Cody and Roman. So yes, we need to figure something out, but it was already sort of being before the Punk thing got announced. It was already being set up for us to see whatever happens at Mania with Seth is a formality because he needs a break. Like Seth needs a break. He can't keep carrying his championship. He can't keep throwing out stellar matches. So we need him to move this on to somebody. So let's set this up. Not as blatantly, not just have someone beat him straight away. So we're going to have him fuck around. But he's going to lose at Mania. He has to.
He will, yeah. And
if they're crazy,
Drew, I'd be happy with that anyway. Because he's been an amazing first WHC. So if you're going to hand it off to a guy who is deserving like Drew, who is entertaining like Drew. And his character right now, Drew, is amazing. I'm very tempted to buy that shirt he's wearing.
I do like it. Okay, I've got an idea how we're going to end this episode today.
Thank you. It feels weird not doing such good shit.
It's just going to be, I think, I want us to do a very lame but interesting. Let's try and make it controversial. What are your predictions for this year as a whole? Because let's treat this as the beginning of our year. You know, we're mid-Feb, just post mid-Feb. You know, we've only had one PLE, so we've only had the Rumble. Elimination Chambers next week. So most of the year is still yet to play out. There is so much that's going to potentially happen by the end of the year. So what are your big predictions for this year? Because I've got a couple. I might even start.
Yeah, you start. Give me an idea of what kind of things you're going for.
So my prediction is this year we're going to see a lot of World Heavyweight Champions.
Okay.
I base this off of my watching of previous years. So in 2013. No. Yeah, because it was before the unification. We saw a lot of World Heavyweight Champions. We had Punk on one side having a massive WWE Championship run. We had Punk with a massive run, and to counter that, we needed more movement on the World Heavyweight Championship. So we had, I was shocked to see, from the beginning of the year, we had Alberto Del Rio, to then John Cena holding it at one point. Dolph Ziggler held it. A lot of people held that title before it got unified. Technically, Randy Orton held it before even unifying it. So I think, especially since this title's only just been established in the last 6-7 months, and it's been held by one person the whole time, I think once he drops it, and let's be honest, Seth holding it was a fan service. It was we're done with Roman, and we need the other guy that we fucking love to hold the title. So we gave him this title.
Now? Has it been 6-7 months?
Yeah, he's what?
Oh, no, it's been long. It's probably been about 8 or 9.
Yeah, he's been over 260 days already. They put in a graphic with it and every time. I was like, he's getting close to a year with this title. We can't, Rhea's held her title almost just as long. She's had it since WrestleMania.
So
Gunther hasn't dropped his. We've literally been on the side of most of the titles have been held by a single person. The only titles we've really seen moving a lot have been the other women's titles, the tag team titles barely, and the women's tag titles. The US title was moved across 3 people. So I think it's time. I think this year we're going to see a lot of World Heavyweight Champions, and I can see the candidates. I can see a bunch of people like Gunther, Drew. I predict Damian Priest will hold it. I've actually also got a side prediction. I think we're going to get a surprisingly good, be it for the World Heavyweight Championship, we're going to get a surprisingly good match between Gunther and Damian Priest this year. And if they don't give me this match, they're fucking fools, because I think these two are going to put on a really good match. They're both two guys, I think, itching to hold a decent main event, be it on one of the secondary PLEs like Backlash or what's between fucking SummerSlam and Survivor Series. Somewhere around that time, I think one of them should be holding a title. The other one will challenge. We'll have a surprisingly good 5-star match out of those two. Trust me. But yeah, my general prediction is the World Heavyweight Championship, the men's title, will move a lot this year.
I'm going to make a prediction based very similarly on what you've said. Can I get a general guesstimate on how many champions you're going to have for the World Heavyweight title?
I say 5, which I think is a lot for 1 year. 5 champions in 1 year.
Okay.
I think other than Seth, I think 5 people will hold the title this year.
Other than
Seth. Or maybe
Seth,
by a year from now. I'd say by January, February next year, 5 people would have held 5. It would have moved 5 times. Maybe not 5 different people. I say it would have moved 5 times, I think, to keep myself in a safer area, because someone might win it back. We might do annoying back and forth.
Yes,
it's been a while since we've done that. We haven't done that in a long time, where someone's lost a title and then got it back on their rematch.
Proper Reign of Terror vibes, but when it's not the Reign of Terror.
If we do that with Roman, there will be riots.
They won't. Roman won't hold that.
Imagine Cody fucking beats him and Roman wins it back at Backlash.
My prediction is, I think we're going to have 2, maybe 3 new champions for the WHC this year, but I think Triple H is going to double down on the Workhorse title, and I think he's going to make it for his indie darlings. I think he's going to use it to establish people who need that extra step, which is maybe what that title should be for. It might cause a problem in terms of making it look like that secondary title, because people might look at it and think, this ain't the guy.
Yeah.
But I can see it being used for, if you give it to Drew, immediately that has weight. Drew is the man. He is well respected, great in the ring, just a talent. But if you were to have him followed up by someone like Damian Priest, which I think will happen, might even happen at Mania before Drew, he might cash in on that match. It's possible. I think that you might see, so let's have a look at, I don't think Gunther will win it this year.
I think he will.
I think Gunther's going to hold that belt for a little bit longer.
No, it's time for it to end. It's time. The only reason I say this is because it's time for him to move up to that main event.
Absolutely, yeah. He's capable.
I think if anything, it's let someone like Jey Uso take it off him, so Jey can also lose it. Because I think Jey is someone who should be able to potentially win the Intercontinental early this year, and then be in the World Heavyweight Championship by the end of the year, like contender.
That's where I'm going with
by the end of the year.
Maybe that
not win
takes it a little bit further past the year, but it's those kinds of people. I can't. There was a time where I could have seen him winning the Uwu, but not anymore.
Not yet.
He'll never win that.
And let's be honest, I'm agreeing that it is the secondary title at this point. I feel like the way they've handled the Uwu, like it is the top prize in the company right now because someone just held it for 4 fucking years. And it can't be compared to the new title that's been around, held by one person. For 7 months.
Sometimes there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
It depends on the booking. As long as you make that secondary title. I mean, look at what they've done with the Intercontinental title. Gunther has made it into a real fucking trophy. To win that belt and to own that belt, you're the man.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it being a secondary title. But if you're giving it to people who deserve it, I could see Sami Zayn having a run with that.
I feel like because of all the people that are going for it, that's why it feeds into mine. I feel like it should be a workman, but I don't think it should be so much of what I feel like it's one that should always be putting on the line. And because of that, it will have more movement, but it will be a movement amongst main players only.
Yeah,
you know,
that's something to prove.
Like all these guys have been in the cusp on it now. Like I said, similar to 2013-14, you saw a lot of these guys. You know, the Money in the Bank winner wanted it. A lot of people were going for each other. There was little rivalries being caused. Like we've got so many little mini rivalries going on now. You've got CM Punk, Drew, and Sammy all sort of like looking at each other like, you know, a little I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. Be great to see a little movement between them not competing. You've got the revenge of like someone like Gunther coming in and like disrupting all of this. Like I'm the greatest Intercontinental champion of all time, and that's my title now. Like. You know, have him thrown into there. And then, like I said, maybe someone else works. Like I said, Damien. Damien's also someone on the cusp of this, like, who deserves to hold that, at least for a short amount of time, to be in the picture.
Yeah. So we're looking at it kind of like a hot potato kind of thing, where it's like people who are like big players.
And then Gunther come out on top, obviously.
So maybe we can pitch it to the viewer. What would you rather see? Would you rather see it as the belt that's kind of, it's moving around quite a lot, but it's for big people, and you're building up that repertoire of the title.
Or like a little mini rivalry amongst like 3 to 4 people fighting back and forth between, like you had between Alberto, Dolph, annoyingly John Cena, and who else back in like 2013-14? There was like 4 of them, and Randy, I suppose. Would like
Randy. Lots of little changes.
For like a month or 2, but
people. Or would you rather see maybe 1 or 2? But it'd be new people who would never get a shot at the Uwu, but they've always been on the cusp of it.
Because with that, I think naturally also that feeds into the last point in this. Like, you know, once Seth loses this, I think there's the only natural progression when he comes back for injury is to also move on.
He's got to go back for it.
No, go on to the Uwu.
I think he's got to love it.
Because it's the big title he's never held. Like you said, you even hinted at it. Him betraying Cody. It's got to be done. Like it's almost like, I backed you so you could beat Roman, but now you've beaten Roman. I don't care about your story no more, bro.
This is a discussion for next time.
Let's move on because we're back.
Come
on, man! But
and we're fucking better than ever.
And you saw us. You could see us the whole time. No random camera cuts. The audio might be all over the place, and I might not release this until like July, but hopefully, I'm promising you, the edit will be much faster. Hold me to this. I'm saying end of March latest. This episode should be out
before Mania. That's the goal.
Before Mania. But yeah, for now we're back. Yeah. Look, even Mark's in color. Somewhere down here should be the logo. Upper down editing. But yeah. Much love and good night, everybody. It's dark outside.